Hi guys, I'm Dan.
Ellie, welcome back.
We're at the Tungstona mine near Bagdad, which we think was a tungsten mine, hence the Tungstona name.
And they got lead or zinc out of the mine also. This is one of their smaller adits that is just below their main mill site, which we're going to go to in just a second. But this place is cool. It's got ore carts and
behind us, dump cart of some sort.
Yeah, a big dump cart, and it's painted. It's kind of cool. This adit right here has cool tracks in it, but it caved in the back, so it doesn't go in much further because the rock wasn't great.
Yeah.
So there's a couple more adits that are around and just some old junk and stuff, but this one's really neat. It's a bigger mine, and it spans like a huge portion of the mountain. They had a water line going across and an ore line going across the river. So we'll show you guys all of that. It's this year.
2020.
Okay. Where do we have to go to? Okay. Yeah, I'll follow you. I was gonna bring my sticks.
Whoops.
Or a stick. Because of my foot.
That is part of the main water line going across. I always try to be as careful as possible going downhill, especially with slippery rocks. Luckily, these rocks have a lot of great texture because they're a very large grained granite. A lot of feldspar crystals, but a lot of alteration as well, which makes them very white. It looks like some calc-sodic alteration in these rocks, but very big crystals. I do pause a lot while I'm walking down the hill because I am looking for interesting minerals as well as exploring the mine. All this debris got washed down in a monsoon rain. Big boulders pushed down a ton of the tracks and squished it into ore carts, and it was a pretty horrific rainstorm. The granite cliffs in this area and riverbed are amazing. These are very fine-grained felsic units. As far as finding any really awesome minerals to take home, there aren't many, but just the remnants of the mine make it fascinating.
Places like this are really great habitats for animals and the little frogs like we saw. It's nice and cool right here. There's no airflow. It's just a nice little cave it doesn't go back into. Here are the ore cart tracks that went way back in there. So at some point, I mean, yeah, you could dig it out. It would be a really bad idea. lot of spiders, a lot of ants, a lot of really creepy things in here, but it's very, very small. This one has a really cool set of tracks. Go off that direction and down there to an old ore cart. If we follow them back this way, there's like a little frame over here. It's pretty neat. Oh, another part of a dump cart. That's pretty cool. This one's painted yellow. Old pads and roads on that side of the little creek. They were putting dump. Okay. Old junk pile. This was an adit area. It's been super caved in, unfortunately. These beams coming out of it here, these big ones, were part of its initial opening, and the metal was going to be, or was part of its little roof.
Old tailings make a great place to drive around, but you do have to be extremely careful. There can be things that are hidden in the sand, but just cruise slow if you're ever out doing this. It's not the best idea to be kicking up this fine dust, especially since they've already put chemicals through it. Always use extreme caution. This type of silica dust, since it is so fine, it can get in your eyes and cut them severely. So they decided to put these tails in a natural trough in between two big rock formations. It's a good place, it should stay there. However, old-time mining didn't really think about the water quality, so some of these old mines do leach the minerals back into the water, which is unfortunate. These are stained yellow and orange and kind of red due to the amount of pyrite that they had in the mine. Pyrite is made of iron and sulfur, and so mixing it with water creates sulfuric acid, which in turn stains the rocks because the iron is leaching out. And you get that rotten egg smell because the sulfur is also leaching out of the pyrite. They had some pretty large storage tanks at this mine. This one, which was for fuel, and two others up on the hill here, which were water storage tanks. And they were also gravity fed, being up higher than part of the mill site, which would have made it easier to pump the water. As you can see, this mine is not small, and it gets quite a few travelers out here that like to play around in these little tailings dunes, as you could call them. But again, not safe to play around in. There's all kinds of buried stuff out there. This looks like it could have been a crusher or one of the ore feeders for part of the mill. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me on my rock adventures. Please subscribe, like up these videos, and come back for more of Ellie Knows Rocks.